Did you
Hello
freeze?
and happy Wednesday. How are you, Teresa?
I'm good. We were frozen for a second, so I'm not real sure what you may have seen. I was like, are you there?
Oh, I see you just fine. I don't know if
Okay.
it's streaming properly, but we'll pretend it is. So, having a good week so far. We're midweek.
I am. I'm having a fabulous week, but I always have a fabulous week, I think.
Oh, see, you're good like that. So, I'm having a fabulous week too, and I'm really excited because my website's rolling out really soon. So excited about that. All right. So, today's topic, I love this topic
Mm-hmm.
because it has happened to me
Mm-hmm.
more than one time. It's probably happened to me 3 or 4 times in my lifetime of running businesses. And it is so annoying. Web designers that disappear.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do we do about that?
Well, I want to tell a horror story first. Like I was telling you a little bit ago, this would have been perfect in Halloween time frame, but it's a consult that I did with a woman named Carolyn. She's a professional organizer. This is about 3 years ago, and she went online and found a web designer from Thumbtack who was going to take care of getting her domain set up, getting her hosting set up, building that website, and getting it ready for her in 2 weeks. Okay. So she thought, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want. I'm about to launch my business and this is great. So she goes into an agreement with this guy, $600 steal, right? She's
I
so
was going to say that's really inexpensive.
right. So, and right away, he was able to get the domain that matched her new business name. Very excited. 2 weeks come by, she gets her website. It doesn't have her logo, her branding, her fonts. He did not use her content. He wrote his own. English was not his first language. So she had 3 revisions in the agreement with him, and she reached out to get everything changed. So he changed her logo and he changed her font and her color. And he said, that's your 3 revisions.
No.
Yes. So now this is
Oh,
absolute worst case scenario. I would not call this person a web designer. I would call this person a crook. But he said, that's your 3 revisions, and you're going to have to pay to get the content updated. And I don't know what she had to pay. She never did tell me, but I think it was a pretty steep price. So here's somebody about to launch her business. And this guy is basically holding her hostage with the website. So she calls me hoping I can step in and make the changes she needs.
right.
Where it really gets icky. He got her domain and her hosting for her. He owned them completely. He didn't set it up in her name. And I set up domain and hosting for people all the time in their name, but he didn't set it up in their name or her name. So he owned it. And the business name she was about to launch was the domain name.
Oh boy.
And then he disappeared with her
Oh,
$600. And that was the end of it. His profile got removed from Thumbtack, probably because he was an awful person. She could not get a hold of him. His email stopped working. And here she is about to launch a business. She had to rebrand her business.
it's so sad. That's a sad story.
The worst, I tell you, this is the worst. But here's the thing. So the first thing that I want to have people keep in mind is that when you want to have a low time investment and a low money investment, you're going to get a really low quality product. And I hate to be that way, but a website is an investment. It's time and it's money. You get to decide the balance between the two, but you do have to invest a little bit of both.
And that's an extreme story. I was thinking of, and a true story, I know. I was thinking of more like what's happened to me multiple times. Um, and I'm going to say this is why I really love working with you, because in the past, I've had great web designers. Like I love what they've created. They don't disappear in the beginning.
Right.
They're with me for a year or so, and then they don't raise their prices to high enough to support themselves, so they take on too many clients.
Yep.
And then when I need a change to my website, okay, I'll get that done next month or the month after, and it never gets done, and then I have to follow up, and then suddenly they're like, they're not answering me because they are buried because they're not running their business well.
Right. That's a lot.
Same thing to me. You disappeared on me. Like I'm a client and I pay you steady, and yet I can't get what I need from you.
Right. So you have done the one thing that I think is really important that I wish Carolyn would have done. You have always made sure that you have access to log into your website. Even if you're not going to log in, you have that access to say, hey, Teresa, I need you. That's how we started, because you needed somebody to take over. You're like, hey, here's my access, my login, so you can get in and set up your own. You had access to your website, and that's the number one thing that I encourage people to do. Even if you never plan to log in, always get your own username and password so that when that person disappears, you can reach out to somebody else, get them to log in and get access and make changes.
Yes, and I always try to remember to log in once or twice a year just so I know I still can.
Yes.
Right? Not that I want to touch anything back there, because I'll screw it up, right? But I want to make sure that I can get in, that I remember what my password is, or I put it somewhere. I use LastPass, which is a program that you pay for that captures all your passwords right when you're using them. And it allows me also to share my passwords without the person seeing the password, or so I should say share access. But you're right. It's like very intimidating for someone who's not tech savvy to say, how do I sign into my own website, and where is my domain living, and how I'm paying for it every year, but like I don't know how to even stop paying for it if I wanted to. Like I don't know how to get into anything. So we talked about this on another website Wednesday, that how important it is for you to know where your domain lives, that you own it, and that you can get into your own website, because unfortunately, there are a lot of people who don't run their businesses well, and they might be fabulous in the beginning, but then they disappear.
Exactly. And as for talking about owning your own domain, like I said, I set up domains and hosting for clients all the time, but I do it in their name. In our written agreement, it clearly states that I will do it in their name, that they own the property rights to everything that I create. That's in the contract, the agreements, whatever. And so you want to make sure, like if you're going to have somebody set that up for you, have that conversation to make sure that it's all done in your name.
Yes.
And you are immediately given access to that.
I can't tell you how many of my clients, when I say, who handles your website? And it was like, well, years ago, I had someone set it up, but I don't know where they are now. And I don't even know if they're still in business. And I don't even know what to do. And I always like, call Teresa. Well, not call you, reach out through your website. Because you're able to figure things out that I haven't been able to figure out when people have disappeared on me. And one of the things that I really think you do amazingly well is balance your own schedule so that you don't take on too much in any given month, so you can make sure your deliverables are on time.
Absolutely. That's one thing. I always build an extra time in my calendar. And like you said earlier, charging appropriately. Like, yes, my prices have increased since I started business, but I also knew that I want to run a high quality business where I serve with excellence, and you pay for excellence. I mean, yes, the prices are higher, but the delivery is so much there, and I don't disappear on my clients. And even if I were to, get hit by a bus tomorrow, you've got everything you need about your website in a nice handy dandy booklet that's going to tell you, new web designer, here's what I've got.
Yes.
And they will be able to hit the ground running, knowing exactly what's going on.
So if someone has a disappearing web designer, they right now cannot figure out where their domain lives, how to get into it, how to get into their website, the guy's gone, the girl's gone, whatever, what do they do?
Well, they need to start off doing some research to see if they can figure out, like, where does the website lie? Who is it registered to? When is all of those kinds of things that they don't know. There's the Whois ICANN search that allows people to find out some information about the website. Not always who it's registered to. If you pay for privacy, you're not going to see that. There's other tools to find out where it lies, and then trying to get logged in. Honestly, if you're really lost, give me a quick call.
Just because everything you just said, I glazed over. I'm like, what? Like, I gotta research. Like,
I can figure most of that information out for you. And Carolyn is the only person that I've not been able to help her get into her domain. I mean, there was absolutely nothing we could do. She was absolute worst case scenario. He owned everything. He had, I don't even think he used his real name. So she was the only one that I have ever talked to that was not able to get access to their website, so that we could start over or get moving a new direction. So most of the time we can figure that stuff out, and within 5 to 10 minutes, I can tell you what to do and what steps need to be taken. But you'll spend days, I'll spend 5, 10 minutes.
I was just going to point that out. When you said it would take you an hour or two, I'm like, oh my God, that would take me like weeks.
Yeah.
And frustration is not worth it. Like frustration locks you down from being able to do everything else you're supposed to be doing well.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. So you or any other web designer has got tools to help you figure that out. Reach out to somebody that you trust, or, and do it. And, most of us we're going to give you that 15 minutes for free, just because we hate when those people, mess up our industry. Like, it is such a stigma to get beyond sometimes, because there's so many horrible designers that, like you said, don't manage their business well, up and disappear, and people feel like they're held hostage by their website. And so those of us who are really good, myself, Robin is in the group too, she's amazing. I know some other ones, like, we're going to help you out and get you going, because we want to clean the reputation of this.
Yes, of the industry, right? Everyone understands that. That's like I've heard of coaches who behind the scenes are saying things about their clients after they get off a stage. I've heard of interior designers who are really not doing the right thing, right? It's in every industry.
Yeah.
It's in every industry. So, well, we're glad we have you and Robin and a couple other people that I recommend to people that I know are really good designers. So don't chintz people. Don't chintz on the things that matter, because in the end, when you spend money on things like this, it's going to make you money in the long run. And the peace of mind has a value to it as well.
Right. Well, and if money's not a thing, I have things where time. If you've got time to invest, I've got solutions that are much more affordable. If you've got the time, like, reach out. If conversation is free, that's what I always say. Conversation and coffee is free. See what's available to you. Don't stay caught in fear and like you're unable to move forward. I was so sad the other day. I had somebody said they were afraid to reach out to me because I'm too expensive, and they spent 5 months trying to build a website that they were afraid to show me, and it just broke my heart, because she, struggled for 5 months when. So anyway,
I just had this conversation with somebody yesterday. I do have paid consults, right? So people do have to pay me to talk to me. But when I hear how long they've struggled, and when they say, I should have hired you a year ago, because a year later I did all this work on all these free things that I thought were the right thing for my business, and I'm still sitting in the same place without a business coming in the door. I'm like, oh, okay, time to get help. It's worth it, right? Right? Okay. All right, everyone. So if you have a disappearing web designer or someone who's just not accessible, give Teresa a call. Reach out from her website, Web Designs by Teresa. It's right there on the screen. And make sure you make this year the year that you stop trying to figure everything out yourself. If you need help, that's what we are here for. So, all right. Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you so much, Teresa. I will see you next Wednesday. Everyone, go have a great week. And if you need Teresa or I, just tag us in the group and we will respond. Okay?
Bye.
Bye, everyone.